Christianity is the second religion in Vietnam after Buddhism. The countryside is dotted with churches and cathedrals. But everybody worships his ancestors through sticks of incense and superstitions. Saigon, which nobody calls Ho Chi Minh City anymore, is a sensuous, captivating city. People are always feverishly active. Even crossing the streets is difficult. Far from exotic cliches, it's become a business center. The lifting of the U.S. embargo set everything off. Vietnam dreams of becoming another dragon. Drowning in a human whirlpool, its streets and boulevards are hives of activity through which elegant young women sometimes glide. Vestiges of colonial France. A theater, hotels, wide tree-lined avenues. All these buildings and companies that define the city's special character, its quaint charm. Tourists hail Saigon, full of grace. Cholon, Saigon's stomach and melting pot. Asia with a capital A. Once an opium city. Cholon, nicknamed the Great Market, used to be a suburb of Saigon. Today it's a city within the city, District Number 5. There you find all the country's fruit and vegetables, but also the roots and dried meat required by Chinese pharmacopoeia. "500,000 Hoas live there. They are the Vietnamese of Chinese origin who speak Cantonese. They're an economic force said to control everything secretly. They're also treated as scapegoats, but are always traitors at heart." 60 kilometers south of Saigon, the Mekong Delta. A world unto itself, a proud republic situated in a lagoon. A world of water made up of 9 distinct branches of the Mekong, irrigating over 40,000 square kilometers of Cochinchine. Eight provinces benefit from its force, its flow, and its natural resources. 15 million people live in this region blessed by the gods and dragons, where they live and eat close to the water and travel in small rudimentary boats.
Is that all you caught today?
I've sold some already.
Did you catch some big fish?
No, I've only caught cacums.
Traditional fishing, but horticulture as well. Enormous orchards full of fruits and colors between each arroyo.
This is the main body of water for the area. We use it to water the plantation. We would have a problem if it didn't exist, because we also use it for our consumption. The last month and the 2 following months of the new year, the land is drier, and in the 3rd and the 4th month, the salt water rises, therefore we water less.
Like a small agricultural and tropical Venice, 1,000 shapes, 1,000 perfumes, 1,000 scents, 1,001 flavors. Plantations at a regional level. The orchards are not irrigated, but watered and nourished by the great river. A peaceful life, almost out of this world. The earth is easy, inviting, nourishing. There's the season for monsoons and for development. Because it's not been well developed, the train is used very little by Vietnamese. People prefer the road in old buses providing public transport or in prized Japanese minicars. 1932. The distance between this service station and Hanoi, the capital, far north. A popular stopping place. Vietnam has oil which is exploited off Cape Saint-Jacques with the help of Russian technicians. French and English companies have recently joined the ranks. Saigon, its force, its vital energy. Its fascination with the United States, modernization, its stereotypes as well as its symbols. A population that's growing, an estimated 90 million inhabitants on the eve of the year 2000. 40% of the population is under 15 years old. Water's always close by, always present. The Prince of Rivers, Saigon. The Royal Mekong. At the embankment, a carousel of boats, small craft that shuttles between the banks. This is not Hong Kong, but Saigon, the Water Kingdom, an eternal Vietnam.
Right now we're leaving the Saigon River. The last checkpoint at 1643 was here, and in about 3 minutes we get out onto the channel and head southeastward to Cap Saint-Jacques. Well, formerly Cap Saint-Jacques, since this is an old French map, and we'll drop off the pilot at this part right here in front of the Bay of Coconut.
À cet endroit-là, en face de la baie des Cocotiers.
Yeah, sure, let me show you a map, a weather satellite picture. So the satellites circle the Earth on a north to south path. So this is our course, this is Cochin Sheen, and we're heading to Koh Samui, which is over here. In fact, we're crossing the Gulf of Thailand.
We are now 548 nautical miles over 1,000 kilometers distant from the bustle of Saigon. Tranquil and voluptuous, the Thai island of Koh Samui is all ours. Like the rest of Thailand, with its 24,000 temples and 200,000 Buddhist monks, Koh Samui is Buddhist soil. Surrounded with brightly colored divine creatures stands the temple of the great Buddha. Shining with gold, a giant statue shows the Buddha in the illumination position. As it is far from the main religious centers, few monks live on Koh Samui. But let's visit a little monastery where one of them is the object of a singular veneration, as is borne out by this gold leaf statue.
When he died, for a whole week, the faithful came to see him. They thought he was the most powerful monk in the region. Among the people who came, there were two monks who wanted to study with him. I am the assistant of one of them. A week before he died, he wrote that he was going to die, but his followers did not believe him. He set himself in the lotus position and waited for death.
But Koh Samui has other curiosities in store, such as these macaques who work in the coconut plantations.
This monkey comes from the Sulawesi province. It was caught in the forest and we trained it for 5 or 6 months.
Tell us how you make him work.
I rub his hand and he understands that he has to pick the coconut by turning it.
For how long do you pick coconuts?
3 months. We use the monkeys for the season, which lasts about 3 months.
We're trying to find local produce and what we're missing on the boat, like mangoes today. This looks nice, so we're buying.
Koh Samui mangoes are any good?
Yes, they're world famous.
As much for pleasure as from curiosity, the boat's chief cook and steward take advantage of the last few moments of our stopover to stroll through this little Thai market. But our two shipmates are soon back on board to oversee the setting up of this evening's grand buffet on the bridge, while the Club Med 2 steers directly south to Malaysia.
Passing course 1707. Reaching 180.
On a technological standpoint, this is fabulous. For young people, it's a wonderful tool. For myself, too. But for them, this is really the future. Aboard, they have the most sophisticated equipment there is. As far as safety and training are concerned, this is extraordinary. Last year, we went to 3 or 4 islands where people had never seen such a big and beautiful ship. We were welcomed like we would have been 200 years ago. This is fabulous for people taking this trip, because when they come back, they have no words to describe what they've seen.
We disembark in Malaysia flanked by 2 rows of musicians beating their kertoks. The sounds, the colors, the faces, everything here is different. We're in the eastern province of Kuantan, the most Malay and the most Muslim of all the provinces of the Federation, heading towards Kota Bharu, the capital. In the town center, on Merdeka Square, Liberty Square, a provincial calm reigns. The hour of prayer is approaching. Near the mosque, magnificent palaces deck out their facades in colored wood and their cornices in lace, in a harmonious blend of form and color. In the central market, the vivid colors of costumes, fruit, and vegetables are like dabs of paint on a palette. Against a backdrop of religious radio music from the mosque, people talk, laugh, fan themselves. Here good humor reigns. Inland, certain monasteries carry on the Buddhist tradition in this border region with Thailand. Supplanted by Islam in the 14th century, the Buddhist pantheon, peopled with strange divinities and innumerable phantasmagorical creatures, continues to influence and nourish Malay folk art.
Saya belajar bapa saudara saya. Pas masuk ni.
In the beginning, my uncles taught me. Then I had 3 masters. I've been building kites for 30 years. I used to draw and then cut them. Now I cut them directly.
Mula tanda, lain tak tanda. Pakai ingat sendiri.
Before returning to the boat, we take one last drive. The wind is rising, and black menacing clouds are gathering above Wat Photivian, Southeast Asia's largest reclining Buddha. The storm breaks, and the cloudburst beating down on the sea suddenly engulfs Club Med 2 in a thick opaque curtain. Even outside of the monsoon season, which lasts here from October to February, the rains beneath the tropics are always violent.
Derrière, milieu, devant, hop, derrière, milieu, derrière.
While Club Med 2 weighs anchor and heads south once more, the entertainment team rehearse the evening show. Our next stopover takes us to Sherating in the province of Pahang. The houses and hotels which abound along the coast are built on pylons, as is customary for protection against the monsoon. Our guide suggests we stop off in a kampong, which in Malay means village, so as to introduce us to one of its inhabitants, an adorable grandmother.
Are you using coal?
Yes, I have another oven, but I prefer to use coal.
Can we visit your house?
Yes, sure. Follow me.
Would you exchange your house for another one in Kuantan?
If you give it to me, I'll take it.
But would you move to the city?
In that case, no, because I've lived here all my life and I like this house. I would not change since I don't have any money anyway.
On our way out of the kampong, we pass several trucks full of timber. The Malaysian jungle is the planet's most ancient forest and contains incredibly diverse species, except for hevea, which is imported from Brazil.
Kakak buat kerja ni untuk
I work here every day because I have to feed my family. I like this kind of work.
mesti kerja lah.
I learned when I was a child.
Untuk menanggung perbelanjaan rumah semua sekali.
You need 3 days to do it.
Suka kerja ni sebab
The first day we graft, the second and third day we let it rest, the fourth day we cut again.
The long road cuts straight through the forest, which thins in some areas, making room for other plantations.
And these are all the plantations which you see here. These are the oil palm plantations. The fruit, which is known as the palm oil fruit. And here you see some of these fruits here, they are black in color. From black, it changes to orange red like this. From here, this is when they take the whole bunch, which is approximately about 350 fruits to 600 fruits each bunch consists. They take it to a factory. This is where they steam it with hot air to loosen the bunch. If you press here, you see, this is where you get the oil content. Things like this, which is also made for suntan lotion also.
In Bezira, close to Kuantan, the buffalo don't work in the rice fields.
Pasal main lama tunggu. Bila itu bok sudah sampai sini, itu mesti mau turun.
When I see the boat arriving, I usually attach the buffalo to the cart.
Why do you use the buffalo?
Because it's better to maneuver with the cart. It's easier to pull or turn around. If I use a car or a truck, it's difficult to turn and water may get into the engine. And it's also difficult to reverse with a truck.
On dry land, the ketch, a type of anchovy, is boiled in salted water before it's set to dry. Back on board ship, we've surprised a particularly attentive passenger.
Mr. Fournier, why a nautical hall?
Well, we had to take advantage of the enormous stability of the boat to create a sort of beach, and this is what we've done. I really like it because it gives a feeling of comfort, of safety. The boat does not move when others come near it. This is total comfort. So how was it?
The water wasn't very clear. We saw turtles, rays, eels. It was really nice.
Tioman is a mysterious island full of legends. One is the story of a dragon in love who is turned into an island. The two peaks which dominate Tioman are said to be the dragon's horns. When making South Pacific, Hollywood filmmakers searched for a lost island paradise to symbolize the legendary Balihay. An island surrounded by idyllic beaches and cool water cascades at every turn. No road goes through Tioman, preserving its mystery.
kayu tu aku nak tahu banyak tidaklah 2-3 jenis.
I don't really know much about this forest. I know only a few trees like the merent or the dongdong or the sinuduk. On each tree there is a name tag so that when the tourists come, they can read the name and identify the tree and know the types of leaves and branches.
Jenis burung pula, burung macam burung tadi, burung apa?
There are also many birds like the mirabe or the myna. Lots of birds can be found in the area.
Burung tu jenis tu banyak lah kat sini.
In the honey-colored twilight, slowly and with regret, the Club Med 2 leaves Tioman, heading for Singapore. Between the Indian and Pacific Oceans, at the southernmost end of the Malaysian peninsula, Singapore, a tiny island, is along with South Korea, Taiwan, and Hong Kong, one of the 4 dragons of Southeast Asia. Sometimes compared to Switzerland, Singapore is a modern, powerful, and dynamic country. The chic store windows and the bluish mirrored building facades reflect a clean and perfect city, which fascinates the West. However, Singapore's charm and real wealth are elsewhere. They're in the different communities living side by side: Chinese, Indian, Malaysian, and British. Under the watchful eye of Sir Raffles, the founder of Singapore, we call a real English cab. Can you think of a better way to discover the colonial city?
Right now, this is the Singapore Cricket Club. On my right, they call it SCC. Can you see from here? It's a very old established club. And on my left is the Supreme Court. Can you shoot the film here? This Supreme Court is here. This is a very old court. Established for many years. Of course, I mean, every country when it goes, it progresses, you see. They want something different. So we have the old and the new. So it's mixed up. Because it's everything new, people don't like. Now they have preservation where the whole building, they keep it, you see. And they have the new building, modern building, at the same time they keep the old building. So old is still there. not taken away. Okay. Well, the most common is Indian, Chinese, Malay. Oh, they stay in a different place. They stay more on a bit more expensive this thing. Only those housing board estates are mostly for locals, for Singaporeans.
Chinatown. The first Chinese arrived in Singapore in 1821. Coolies for the most part, they came from the province of Canton. Today in Chinatown, their descendants dominate Singapore trade. Although they're professional businessmen, they do not neglect their origins. At the Temple of the Celestial Lady, they celebrate the goddess of the sea, who protected their ancestors on their voyage to Singapore. Arab Street. The Chinese focus on business success. The Malaysians focus on religion. If you ask a Malayan taxi driver to wait for you, when you return, he'll be reading the Quran. Close to the Sultan's Mosque, a few houses are reminders of the past riches of Arab merchants. Today, the Malayan community lives far from Singapore's city center.
We are in Geylang Serai, on the eastern side of Singapore. The boys behind me are playing a game of sepak takraw. The original of this game is played in many countries in Southeast Asia, in Asia in fact. In Laos, they call it a game of takraw. They start with raga. In Singapore, they play sepak raga. So as years goes by, presently we are developing, they call it sepak takraw, and they are promoting it throughout the world.
Little India. In Singapore, they say If you want to go to India, either take a plane to Bombay or a taxi to Serangoon Street. Real sacred cows, strange characters from the Hindu pantheon. At Sri Mariamam, we are the privileged and silent witnesses to a magnificent wedding.
These ceremonies according to the Hindu religious. The girl is a Hindu. You see the Hindu, you know the Hindu. The bride is Chinese. This Singapore, there is no different religious. If the Hindu want marriage with the Chinese, they can. If the Hindu want marriage, other religions also can. There is no any difference in Singapore only.
Is that all you caught today?
I've sold some already.
Qu'est-ce qu'il avait pêché comme gros poisson?
Did you catch some big fish?
No, I've only caught cacums.
Traditional fishing, but horticulture as well. Enormous orchards full of fruits and colors between each arroyo.
This is the main body of water for the area. We use it to water the plantation. We would have a problem if it didn't exist, because we also use it for our consumption. The last month and the 2 following months of the new year, the land is drier, and in the 3rd and the 4th month, the salt water rises, therefore we water less.
Like a small agricultural and tropical Venice, 1,000 shapes, 1,000 perfumes, 1,000 scents, 1,001 flavors. Plantations at a regional level. Christianity is the second religion in Vietnam after Buddhism. The countryside is dotted with churches and cathedrals. But everybody worships his ancestors through sticks of incense and superstitions. Saigon, which nobody calls Ho Chi Minh City anymore, is a sensuous, captivating city. People are always feverishly active. Even crossing the streets is difficult. Far from exotic cliches, it's become a business center. The lifting of the U.S. embargo set everything off. Vietnam dreams. 500,000 Hoas live there. They are the Vietnamese of Chinese origin who speak Cantonese. They're an economic force set to control everything secretly. They're also treated as scapegoats, but are always traitors at heart. 60 kilometers south of Saigon, the Mekong Delta. A world unto itself, a proud republic situated in a lagoon. A world of water made up of 9 distinct branches of the Mekong, irrigating over 40,000 square kilometers of Cochinchine. Eight provinces benefit from its force, its flow, and its natural resources. 15 million people live in this region blessed by the gods and dragons, where they live and eat close to the water and travel in small rudimentary boats. The orchards are not irrigated, but watered and nourished by the great river. A peaceful life, almost out of this world. The earth is easy, inviting, nourishing. There's the season for monsoons and for development. Because it's not been well developed, the train is used very little by Vietnamese. People prefer the road in old buses providing public transport or in prized Japanese minicars. 1932. The distance between this service station and Hanoi, the capital, far north, is of becoming another dragon. Drowning in a human whirlpool, its streets and boulevards are hives of activity through which elegant young women sometimes glide. vestiges of colonial France. A theatre, hotels, wide tree-lined avenues. All these buildings and companies that define the city's special character, its quaint charm. Tourists hail Saigon full of grace. Cholon, Saigon's stomach and melting pot. Asia with a capital A. Once an opium city. Cholon, nicknamed the Great Market, used to be a suburb of Saigon. Today it's a city within the city, District Number 5. There you find all the country's fruit and vegetables, but also the roots and dried meat required by Chinese pharmacopoeia.